All righty, we're back here live at Alumni Hall for Friar Fever. You know, all logic dictates that there's no way PC should be in the Final Four. It's supposed to be too small, too remote, too everything. But as anyone from Rhode Island will tell you, PC draws on one of the richest basketball traditions this side of Indiana, one that started right here in this gym 30 years ago. February 14th, 1956. Friar Fever begins when Notre Dame is upset in one of the first games ever played at Alumni Hall, with a buzzer beater from half court at that. The first legitimate PC superstar was Brooklyn's Lenny Wilkens, class of 1960.
The priest called me and told me he had a young man that was interested in going away to college. As far as I know, we were the only school interested in him.
Almost immediately, Wilkens brought magic to Alumni Hall.
We went down to the NIT. We won the first game. First time we'd ever appeared, beat Manhattan. But the second game was a distinct underdog to St. Louis University. Bob Ferry and McCormick, and they had a really fine team, much bigger than we were. And I remember there was one writer from the Journal there, and that was it. He was ill, Pete McCarthy. And we won that game in a double overtime, and I think at that point the town kind of went crazy.
The first Friar Championship came in 1961 in typically dramatic fashion. It was the NIT, and PC was led by Vinnie Ernst, John Egan, and Big Jim Hadnot at center. In the semifinals, Ernst had a chance to beat Holy Cross with a free throw with goose eggs on the clock, but he missed. PC won in overtime anyway, and then squeaked by St. Louis in the finals. The Rhode Island romance with the Friars was thus etched indelibly in stone. It was a perfect marriage. Like Rhode Island itself, the Friars were small, unheralded, but talented. The David fighting Goliaths of the college basketball world. And they were doing it at the mecca of college basketball itself, the old Madison Square Garden in New York. Another NIT championship followed in '63, and it was on to the next era, the era of the Walk. Jimmy Walker from Roxbury, Massachusetts. Possessor of deadly one-on-one skills, practitioner of the dribble which reverberated through an entire gymnasium. One of the few ever to be named MVP of the holiday festival while playing on a losing team.
From the time he came on campus, he was the best player we ever had here. I mean, while I was here, he was an accomplished player. He was as good as he was 7 years later when he was in the pros. I mean, he was a man, he was 215, strong, a dominating one-on-one player.
Walker's teams were good, though not great. He wasn't the whole team. His backcourt partner was Mike Reardon, the first incarnation of the blue-collar Friar. Hard-working, not awesomely talented, but determined to make it. Like Walker, he made it to the NBA. Unlike Walker, he wears an NBA championship ring. Within a year, Mulaney would follow them to the pros. His mission was entrusted to Dave Gavitt. He would take the Friars to new heights, to the Mount Everest of college basketball, to the Final Four. He did with Marvin and Kevin, and of course with Ernie. If you need anything to remind you of the magic DiGregorio brought to the game, check this out. June 1973, the U.S. against the USSR, Madison Square Garden.
The Fox and the Hounds. Oh, my! Oh! And wouldn't you know, it was Marvin Barnes who finally got the basket.
But this crew will be remembered for their trip to St. Louis, for their chance at the brass ring. They rolled through the regular season, and in the NCAA's blasted St. Joe's, Penn, and Maryland to reach the semifinals against Memphis State. Most of the first half was pure heaven for PC fans. Ernie D put on a clinic of fast break basketball, behind the back, inside, on the wing. But as every red-blooded Friar fanatic will recall, it all came crashing down when Barnes tore up his knee. Gavitt tried to regroup.
All right, if we go to the 4 defense, you're going to play Cook man-to-man. You're going to play Finch man-to-man, all right? Barnes is out of the game. We ought to be able to get right around that.
With Barnes gone, the Tigers would tear up the Friars on the glass, grabbing rebound after rebound. Even though the Friars hung tough, the Tigers won going away. The late 70s witnessed the final hurrah of the Gavitt regime. Triumvirate of Bruce Campbell, Billy Easton, and point center Bob Misaviges led PC to 4 postseason appearances, but no championships. They did provide 2 moments which will live forever. Misaviges' jumper at the buzzer to beat #1 Michigan in 1976, and a thrashing of highly ranked North Carolina during the blizzard of '78. That was the end of the glory years. The recruiting well ran dry. Gavitt stayed around one more year before leaving to run the Big East. Gary Walter suffered through 2 years of futility, and Joe Mullaney tried to turn things around for 4 years, but he failed too. So it was up to Rick Pitino. His running, gunning style brought out the latent talent in many of Mullaney's recruits. The first year of his 5-year plan ended at the NIT quarterfinal, when Matt Palazzi's jumper missed at the buzzer.
And after that, all they could say was, wait until next year, a typical enough statement. Little did we know what a year it would be.